First, I want to start this video off by saying thank you to everyone for all the support along the way in this journey. From the beginning of my channel in January of 2024 to the beginning of 2025 up until now. It hasn't been an easy journey by any means. There's been many days and months with the feeling of not progressing and being stuck the entire journey up to this point. I don't think I could have done anything close to this without this awesome community on here and everyone's support. I appreciate each and every one of you guys from the bottom of my heart. Now let's talk about sandbags, PRs, and some things you can do to maximize your strength gains and crush a PR on the sandbag to shoulder. So in case you're new to my channel, at the beginning of this year, I started this sandbag to shoulder strength pursuit in a linear progressive overload fashion, starting at 200 pounds, increasing to 226 pounds, and then 247 pounds every 4 weeks. At the increase to 247 pounds, I trained with it for 2 weeks and then did a 2-week deload week. And then trained at 247 pounds for a week after that, and then set a new PR of 280 pounds. As for body weight, I started this journey at 178 pounds, and then after my PR, my weight had increased to 193 pounds. As for physical results and appearance, I don't keep track of that. I focus more on performance, but I have noticed a thicker back, legs, and midsection, just simply from the demands of hitting the heavy sandbag consistently, overloading the body, and forcing it to adapt. Eating-wise, I chronically operate in a caloric deficit, plus intermittently fast almost every day. Might not be the ideal way to approach it, but it's out of my control based on my situation. But what I can control is whether I make this happen or not, so I just focus on that. Let's talk about sandbag weight. The weight of a sandbag is never fixed and precise like a barbell or a dumbbell. It shifts a lot. Type and density of sand affects the weight. In my bag, I actually had mostly dirt with a few small rocks in it, which might have made my bag heavier than the manufacturer's weight rating of 250 pounds. Dirt is said to be heavier and denser than sand, so that explains why I could make my bag 50 pounds heavier than the max weight of 250. Most will recommend play sand, pea gravel, or crumb rubber. I recommend being resourceful and using what's available to you. It's ultimately up to you what material you put in your sandbag based on what you have available where you live. Denser material like dirt allows you to get the most out of maximizing the weight of your sandbag for strength and muscle gains. I always advise to make the most of what you have. So I'm not too much into the DIY niche myself, but I do believe in being resourceful and using what's around you. For weight, I filled my dirt into pillowcases, weighed them on my wife's bathroom scale, and wrote the weight on each bag and stored them in a bucket. The night before the PR attempts, I left it outside and it rained, so some of my dirt turned into mud. I can imagine that added to the weight a little bit. As I increased weight, I poured the dirt into the bag from the zipper flap on top with the pillowcase. Before I started lifting, I pulled the filler material of old clothes I used to take up space in an attempt to make the bag less floppy. So the warm-up started with a floppy 247. So I started this session off with a floppy 247 pound sandbag to shoulder as a warm-up. It's the weight I've trained with for a total of 3 weeks. After that was done, I added 15 pounds, which increased the weight to 262 pounds. After getting that weight on my shoulder the first attempt, I added 18 pounds to 280. I missed it on the first attempt, as you'll see later. I held it at the chest for too long, as well as holding my breath, and that's why you'll see me collapse after that attempt. I still have room to improve when it comes to breathing. I tried 280 again and got it on the second attempt. Get the bag to your shoulder as quick as possible from the lap to avoid the dizziness from holding it too long at the chest. After that, I added 10 pounds to 290. I attempted that 3 times and about rolled my ankle on the third attempt trying to jump with it to get it up. I was just trying to do whatever it took. I took the 280 as a new PR, which I'm very satisfied with. The road to 300 is in the future. As for weight increases with this exercise, strive for as few increases as possible. Making small increases is going to create more volume, therefore creating fatigue quicker. This exercise is very demanding on the entire body and nervous system, and you want to keep yourself as fresh as possible for the big lift attempts. I'd advise resting for 2 to 3 minutes between lifts. This should be the only thing you do for the entire hour of training. So it's crucial to maximize recovery days before the PR attempt. I'd simply recommend hot and cold therapy with a little mobility and active movement. It could be even like sandbag work, if any of this is available to you. Hot and cold therapy, 1 to 3 times a day on rest days, should be pretty ideal. If you do other things besides lift sandbags, I'd recommend dropping that for 2 weeks. Normally on rest days, I like to get under a heavy rucksack and grease the groove with bands and light-weighted carries. I cut down on and cut some of that out entirely leading up to this. Giving the body time to repair is essential to maximizing a sandbag to shoulder PR. All these little things add up over time on top of heavy sandbag lifting, which will contribute to the need for a deload week or 2. If you do 2 deload weeks, do the first with a baby sandbag, and then do the second with a light stimulus like kettlebell and calisthenics. If you do a workout the day before PR, avoid anything that is going to fatigue the legs and the back. I'd recommend conditioning and push work personally. So there's a lot that goes into preparing for a sandbag to shoulder PR. Recovery leading up to it, I believe, is the most important element for maximizing your performance, hands down. If you feel like you're stuck at a certain weight, don't get discouraged. I went through that as well. There's a couple things you can do to overcome that threshold. I'd recommend shouldering a partially filled bag. Yes, it's hard, and it sucks, because the bag fights you, requiring more effort. But once the bag becomes firmer, with heavier weight, control from the chest to the shoulder becomes a lot easier. Another thing I'd recommend is shock loading and lifting the bag to the chest from the ground and lap. Use a sandbag that's heavier than your perceived strength levels for 3 to 6 months. Maximize volume with working up to 6 to 10 low 2 to 3 rep cluster sets with it. Both of these methods have helped me tremendously. When I first got that sandbag, my entire body was a weak point. Repetition, time, learning your body, injury history, addressing weak points with accessory work that complements without taking away from performance or what go into progressing with this exercise. There's no secret shortcut. Well, that's what I've learned so far in this journey. Again, I wanted to say thank you to everyone from the bottom of my heart for the support through the entire journey. I enjoy sharing what I learn along the way, as well as returning the support and seeing you guys do some pretty awesome and remarkable things on here. Leave a comment if you have anything to add or any questions, and until next time, keep getting up every day and making it happen.